Welcome back to the Alex Fordedal Show. Today is a pretty neat day as I'll be chatting with the seventh overall pick in the 2023 OHL priority selection and newly minted Mississauga Steelhead, I should say, goaltender Jack Ivankovic. Jack, thank you so much for coming on, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing really good.
Good to hear. Good to hear. And of course, having gone through the OHL drafting process now, I'm curious to ask you, how are you feeling being done with that process? As I imagine it was a pretty nerve-wracking one.
Yeah, I feel really relieved, especially getting drafted to my hometown team. I think all my family was just we are all really excited to get drafted to the Mississauga Steelheads.
And give me the picture of draft day. That's always something or at least personally myself, I've always been curious of. But give me the picture of when you got the call from JR and the Steelheads saying that they were going to pick you seventh overall.
Yeah, all my family was over, and then I kind of looked at my phone and I got the call from JR and I picked up and he was really excited to pick me, and I was just even more excited to finally hear my name get called on the draft day and know that I'm going to be a part of the Mississauga Senators.
And going to your introduction into the sport of hockey, I hope it's fair to ask, what was your introduction to the sport of hockey? Is hockey a sport you would share with members of your family, or how did you get involved in it?
Yeah, so my dad was actually a goalie himself. He played in the OHL for the London Knights and also Oshawa Generals. So that's where I got most of my hockey from. But my dad never really wanted me to be a goalie at first because how stressful it was. But then I kind of just went in net one day and I fell in love with it, and it's been the only thing I've ever wanted to do.
And that actually goes right into my next question. I was going to ask you about specifically playing goalie, right? So your uncle played with the London Knights as a goalie, and knowing that you wanted to play goalie, but your dad didn't want you to play goalie. What was the position your dad wanted you to play?
Yeah, my dad wanted to be me to play forward, score some goals, but when he wasn't home one time, the coach wanted to throw me in net and see what would happen, and I fell in love with it, and I've never wanted to look back to that day.
There you go. And like you said earlier, obviously, at least when it came to when you were drafted, the Steelhead social media, they were raving about you being not only a Mississauga native, but being a fan of the team before you were officially selected by them. What is your earliest memory of going to a Mississauga OHL game?
I think I was about 6 years old, and we would have practice there at Paramount, and we would go to the games after, and just me and my buddies would when we were really little, we would go and just watch the game.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. And for me personally, I know I've been a big Mississauga OHL fan and viewer of them ever since they were called the Majors, right? So obviously the history that Mississauga OHL hockey has. So that's awesome to hear. And to someone who might not know about you as a goaltender, as a hockey player, how would you describe yourself as a player?
I would describe myself as a hardworking, athletic goalie, um, who likes to use his puck playing and his compete level to keep his team in games and help my team win.
And when it comes to your play style, is there a certain goalie you try to model or mimic your game after? I do know on draft day on the OHL's official broadcast of the draft, one of the analysts compared you to an almost UC Soros kind of goaltender. Is that something you concur with, or you would agree or disagree with?
A little bit, but I like to really model my game after Jake Ottinger on Dallas. Just the way he moves around in the net, and his ability to keep his team in games really catches my eye.
Before I ask you my last couple of questions here, I hope you'll indulge me with a quick game of what comes to mind. So I'll say a few things related to the city of Mississauga, and you just give me the first thing that comes to mind. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, first things first, I got to start off with square one.
Ooh, shopping.
Shopping. There you go. Absolutely. Poor credit.
Hometown.
There you go. Uh, this is new in well, it's new enough in Mississauga. Those who know, it's a bit new, but Celebration Square.
Ooh, that's a place that you're everyone wants to go and skate.
Exactly. And last but not least, Paramount Fine Food Center, or at least because I'm old, I still call it the Hershey Center. But first thing that comes to mind.
The best rink in OHL.
There you go, man. And I do. And before my last question, I was curious because at least myself as a hockey fan, I'm all about the numbers of, well, the stats of a player and also their jersey numbers. And I know, correct me if I'm wrong, you wore number 72 on the Senators. Is that a number you hope to carry over, or is that something you haven't like thought about yet?
No, I'm gonna be wearing number 72 this year.
Awesome. There we go. That's some breaking news for you. 72. There you go. Awesome. And and actually, you know what? An impromptu question for you. But of course, I know you've gone through rookie camp. You officially put pen to paper on your standard player agreement. But but I've been able to talk to JR and he confirmed that it would be yourself and Ryerson Leanders being the tandem next year. Have you had any brief conversations with Ryerson, because obviously he, for a 16-year-old rookie goalie himself, he had a pretty big year. So what have been, if you have had any conversations with him recently, what have they been about?
Yeah, I've talked to Ryerson, and I just can't wait to get started with him. Just how easily he transferred over to the OHL level, and how much I can learn from him is really going to be the big thing for me, kind of falling behind Ryerson.
And lastly, for you, Jack, if there could be something that you want Steelhead fans to know about you, it could be anything. What would that be?
I think it would be it's a hard one here. I think it's gonna be just I will never give up on the Steelheads ever, and I'm gonna bring my best to the Steelheads.
There you go. And obviously, I know the team motto is hardworking hockey. So I imagine fans are very happy to hear that. Jack, thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate it. Hopefully, I'll be able to talk with you throughout again the off season and of course next year, man. But welcome to the Steelheads. I know you're native, but welcome to the Steelheads, and I wish you the best. And thank you so much for your time today, man.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Be on the lookout for more interviews throughout the off season. Of course, if you've missed my interview with James Richmond, head coach and general manager of the Mississauga Steelheads, feel free to check that out on the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a good one.